Daenerys Targaryen's first chapter in A Dance with Dragons begins and ends with her being notified of the deaths of two innocent people. In the first case, it is the murder of one of her Unsullied by her enemies, the Sons of the Harpy. In the second case, it is the death of a child, and to Dany's dismay, the culprit may very well be one of her own children. But did the death happen as reported, or is foul play suspected? In this video, we will explore the question, who killed Hazzea? It had been a long day of holding court for Daenerys Targaryen. As the new Queen of Meereen, Daenerys has been desperately trying to solidify her rule. Every day, new petitioners approach her throne wanting recompense for what they lost in the sack of the city. Every night, the Sons of the Harpy wage their shadow war against her. And when she's not dealing with the political fallout of her decision to remain in Meereen, there is the issue of her dragons. In Meereen, Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion have displayed a prodigious appetite for mutton, which means at every court session, there are dozens of sheep herders with bags of burnt bones. The day Daenerys was delivered the devastating news was no different. She told her counselors to pay those who lost livestock to her dragons, but out of suspicion, she issued a new edict. Anyone making claims that her dragons had eaten their animals must swear before the gods. This, it seems, was an attempt to weed out any liars. After the court was cleared, one man lingered behind. Daenerys gave him permission to approach. Moving as if in a dream, the man lurched toward the throne. His behavior was so out of the ordinary, Sir Barristan Selmy stepped out to defend his queen if needed. The man could not even form a coherent sentence, such was his distress. Daenerys demanded to know what the man wanted of her. The man held in his hand a sack, as did the many others that came before him, but this man seemed to be in difficulty. She could already guess what was in the sack. Bones, she said impatiently. Burnt bones, thinking the bones in the sack must belong to some livestock the man lost. Without a word, the man upended the bag of burnt bones upon the marble floor. It was quite evident that these were not the bones of any animal. It were the black one, the man said in a Giscari growl. The winged shadow. He come down from the sky and Daenerys was immediately horrified. Those were the blackened and broken bones of a child. Her name had been Hazzea. Immediately following this news, Daenerys and her counselors paid the man the damages for what he lost, but instructed him he must keep his silence. Hazzea died of a snake bite, or she was killed by wolves. But he must never speak of dragons. Daenerys is beloved by the people as Misa, their savior, their mother. She protects the innocents. She is not a threat to them. If it becomes known that the mother's monsters have begun devouring children, then she might be seen as just as lethal as the masters were. Thinking quickly, Daenerys did what any queen should do and put her people first. She began by imprisoning her dragons. Her dragons are an extension of herself. If they are fire made flesh, so is she. By locking her dragons away, Daenerys locked away a piece of herself. Viserion and Rhaegal went into the pit beneath the pyramid, though not without great cost. Many of her Unsullied were burned in the attempt. Drogon, the dragon accused of killing Hazzea, killed several men, burned many more, and managed to escape capture. Daenerys feels an enormous guilt over the loss of Hazzea and the fact that she had to imprison two of her own children in a dark pit beneath her great pyramid. As for Drogon, Daenerys fears he has gone feral and will not return to her. Because of the overwhelming political situation Daenerys must deal with in Meereen, she has no time to ponder the question, who or what really killed Hazzea? We can take the father's claims at face value, or we can consider that perhaps there is something else at play here. I believe there are three different options when dealing with the death of Hazzea. Option A, Drogon hunted and killed Hazzea. Option B, Drogon was hunting livestock and killed Hazzea by accident. Option C, the father is an agent of the Sons of the Harpy. Let's discuss option C first. The Sons of the Harpy want to dethrone Daenerys and will do anything to that end. Killing children is something her enemies have had no trouble doing in the past. They know that Dany is called Mother, and so by killing slaves, her children, that would cause her psychological and emotional damage. And if Daenerys is led to believe one of her own dragons killed one of her own freedmen, that makes the matter all the more distressing. But this begs the question, then why didn't the man present Hazzea's bones in open court? To argue against my own case, I believe that he did not openly declare in court that the dragons were man-eaters, because doing so secretly makes this appeal seem all the more genuine. It makes it look as if this is not a political attack. Sometimes when you play the Game of Thrones, you have to make moves that appear to work against you or to seem to have no purpose at all. This can confuse your opponent. The Green Grace, who many readers suspect may be the Harpy herself, makes an interesting comment when talking to Sir Barristan, quote, "Beneath her veils, the Green Grace sighed. The peace we worked so hard to forge flutters like a leaf in an autumn wind. These are dire days. Death stalks our streets, riding the pale mare from thrice-cursed Astapor. Dragons haunt the skies, feasting on the flesh of children." How would the Green Grace have known about Hazzea if the father was sworn to secrecy? Did the Green Grace just reveal she is the Harpy? My thoughts on the identity of the Harpy must wait for another time. However, the easy answer to this question is that either the father did not keep silent and took his troubles to the Graces, or the Green Grace has a spy at court. The latter is more likely. Neither option makes the Green Grace a threat, just well-informed. Ultimately, I don't think the father is lying. In fact, I think his claims are genuine. He witnessed the event firsthand. He saw the dragon kill his daughter. Let's discuss option A. The dragon hunted and killed Hazzea. This is something Daenerys' enemies would love to hear. Her dragons have become man-eating monsters. We have seen them eat human flesh before. When Daario presented Daenerys with the heads of the companions he had slain, her dragons roasted and then began to feast on them. In Daznak's pit, Drogon demonstrated more man-eating tendencies when he devoured the boar that killed Barcena Blackhair and Barcena's body as well. Dragons might eat people, however, they do not hunt people. It might be sickening even to Daenerys to see her children eat the flesh of human beings, but they're simply opportunistic feeders. In all the time Dany has marched across Slaver's Bay, we have not heard of her dragons eating any humans. The Targaryen dragons lived in Westeros for hundreds of years, and no reports of man-eating occurred then. The dragon pit sat in King's Landing. Dragons as big as whales haunted the skies, but the people of the city lived without fear of becoming their food. Dragons attack humans only when they are provoked or if they are instructed. The dragons on Dragonstone didn't bother the island's inhabitants. They only became broth when disturbed. For example, when the dragon seeds invaded their lairs in their attempts to ride them. When Queen Rhaenyra was captured and presented to her brother's dragon, the dragon showed no interest in her, even though Rhaenyra and her brother were mortal enemies. Rhaenyra had to be cut with a knife before the dragon understood what was expected. The great golden dragon then devoured Rhaenyra in 6 massive bites. In The Princess and the Queen, when a Lyseni captain was faced with dragon riders, he did not show fear. The Lyseni knew dragons. The captain told his crew, "Kill the rider and the dragon will depart." That Drogon ate the dead flesh of humans on occasion is graphic and perhaps upsetting, but to animals like dragons, meat is meat. We have seen the direwolves eat dead humans as well, but unlike dragons, wolves and direwolves do hunt people. We can dismiss option A, which leaves us with the last and final option. Option B. Drogon was hunting livestock when he killed Hazzea. The dragons have displayed a taste for mutton. If Hazzea was playing amongst her father's livestock, Drogon may not have seen her before letting loose his fire. Or Hazzea wanted to defend her favorite member of the flock when she saw the dragon approaching. Hazzea's father would not be able to tell the difference between a dragon hunting and an accident. To Hazzea's father, there is no difference. The black dragon, the winged shadow, came down and killed and devoured his daughter. This, I believe, was a terrible accident. Hazzea's death was not a scheme from the Harpy or Dany's other political enemies. Not everything must tie into a grand web of intrigue. The dragons present their own separate problem for Daenerys. She has let these creatures loose into the world, and as she admits, for all her Targaryen blood, she does not know how to train them. She must learn, and she must learn soon. Hazzea's death ultimately serves as a terrible warning for those who live in the dominion of dragons. Do not come between a dragon and his prey.